You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't KIEQ on the mic.
Are the Chicago Bears closing in on signing one of these key players? I surely think so. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of KIEQ on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, make sure you also do me a huge favor by also hitting the like button on today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic. So, Bears fans, as we all know, there are two areas of the Chicago Bears roster that Ryan Poles could still add to prior to the start of training camp, and that is the edge rusher position and also the interior offensive line, particularly the center position for the Chicago Bears offensive line. And over the last couple of weeks, rumors have been flying all over the place about the Bears adding either Yannick Ngakoue and or Connor Williams, which would be both really good players for the Chicago Bears to add to this roster. But Bears fans, my question on today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic is, if you were in Ryan Poles' position, if you were the general manager of the Chicago Bears, and you can only sign one player, which player would you sign? Yannick Ngakoue or Connor Williams? Let me know down below in the comment section. And Bears fans, just for the fun of it, on today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic, let's go ahead and review both players once again for the final time on today's episode of KIEQ on the Mic. And I will give you my answer if I were in Ryan Poles' shoes, which player I would sign to the Chicago Bears roster. First and foremost, let's talk a little bit more about Yannick Ngakoue. He is obviously coming off a season-ending injury, but he looks to be fully healthy. If you look at his video clips on Instagram, he is absolutely looking explosive and dangerous, and he looks like he is ready to come back and sign to an NFL roster. When you look at Ngakoue's season last year for the Chicago Bears, he only had 4 sacks in 13 games for the Chicago Bears defense, but he was also very productive with this limited playing time with a guy like Montez Sweat. So for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears, it may be worth it to see what those two can actually do together in a full season for the Chicago Bears defense. The Bears did draft a guy like Austin Booker, which Bears fans, I am super excited about. I think Austin Booker, with the right development, can be something special alongside Montez Sweat on this Bears defensive line. But bringing back a guy like Yannick Ngakoue makes too much sense for Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears. He is still only just 29 years old, and I do personally believe that a guy like Ngakoue will have a huge bounce back season, and maybe it will be for the Chicago Bears. Now moving on to Connor Williams. Williams is also coming off a season-ending injury, an injury where he suffered in week 14 last season. So it was late in the season, but he also looks like he will be good to go prior to the start of the 2024 NFL season. Connor Williams, Bears fans, is still only 27 years old, and personally, when healthy, he is a true stud on the football field. Prior to his injury, he played 497 offensive snaps, only allowed 1 sack, and boasted a PFF grade of 86.5. The dude is an absolute stud on the football field when healthy. He is strong in pass protection and run blocking, and he would add a whole lot of versatility to this Chicago Bears offensive line. So overall, Bears fans, after going over each player briefly, talking about Yannick Ngakoue and or Connor Williams, if I were Ryan Poles, if I was the general manager of the Chicago Bears, the player that I would sign is Connor Williams. I would give him a 1-year, probably $8 to $10 million deal, almost just like a 1-year prove-it deal, to make sure he can stay healthy for a whole season. But I do truly believe that if he is able to stay healthy for a full year, he will definitely boast the Chicago Bears offensive line. I do love Yannick Ngakoue, and I do love what he would bring to the Chicago Bears defensive line. And I'm also very intrigued to see what him and Montez Sweat could actually do together on the Chicago Bears defense. But I'm also confident in guys like DeMarcus Walker and Austin Booker to be able to be productive alongside Montez Sweat. I think Montez Sweat going into year 2 with the Chicago Bears, I think he's going to even be more dangerous. He's going to be taking all the double teams from opposing offenses in each and every single game that we play this season. So that means that DeMarcus Walker and guys like Austin Booker will get a lot of one-on-one matchups, and I'm expecting them to win most of those one-on-one matchups and be productive alongside Montez Sweat. But my main goal, Bears fans, is to keep Caleb Williams upright, keep him clean, making sure that he is not running for his life. When you look at the interior of the Chicago Bears offensive line, that's where Bears fans, including myself, seem to be a little bit concerned. I know that we have Ryan Bates. I know that we have Coleman Shelton, but I still think we could probably do a little bit better at the center position. And then when you look at the guard positions as well, Nate Davis is unable to stay healthy, and obviously Tevin Jenkins is unable to stay healthy as well. But when Tevin Jenkins is healthy, he is also a very solid player for the Chicago Bears. So Connor Williams would be a major upgrade to the interior of the Chicago Bears offensive line. You add a guy in Connor Williams that is versatile. He can play guard and center, but obviously the Chicago Bears would be signing him to play the center position for the Chicago Bears offensive line. He is also strong against the run and pass. And that is obviously a huge component because we want to make sure not only we're able to run the football effectively, but we also want to make sure that Caleb Williams is able to step up into the pocket and deliver the ball to all the major weapons that we have on the outside. So Williams, in my personal opinion, Bears fans, would give the Chicago Bears the best center we have ever seen in a very, very long time. And Bears fans, could you imagine an offensive line that boasted left tackle Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins at left guard, Connor Williams at the center position? You move Ryan Bates as the starting right guard, and obviously Darnell Wright at the right tackle position. This would be a very solid offensive line, in my personal opinion, for Caleb Williams. So that is a player, if I was in Ryan Poles' shoes and I can only sign one of these players prior to training camp, I would definitely sign Connor Williams, because to me, it's been a very long time since we actually had a complete offensive line to protect our quarterback here in Chicago. So even though I like Ngakoue, I would definitely sign Connor Williams prior to the start of Chicago Bears training camp. So Bears fans, before I let you guys go, let me ask you guys this one more time. If you were Ryan Poles, if you were the general manager of the Chicago Bears and you can only sign one of these players, which player would you sign? Yannick Ngakoue or Connor Williams? Let me know down below in the comment section. But as always, Bears fans, make sure you continue to hit that subscribe button and the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of KIEQ on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. But other than that, be back for our all new Bears podcast right here on KIEQ on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You've been listening to KIEQ on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Thanks, guys, and bear down.